Hi everyone, this is Anne from Junk Journals by Anne. I wanted to share a wedding junk journal I made. Some very good friends of mine got married in March 23rd of 2024. I had asked the bride if she would save any papers that she had, gift wrap, presents, packaging, envelopes, whatever, cards, and I would see if I could make a junk journal out of it. She gave it to me probably at least 3 or 4 months after the wedding. And then it sat in my house. I looked through it one time. I was not able to attend their wedding, but I was able to go to one of the showers. But I was not, anyway, it sat and sat. And I thought about it and thought about it. And I thought, oh, I'm going to start with a cover. So I made the cover, and it was out one of the paper bags they had. And you can see it says happily ever after on the bag. It's kind of black with some pearls and flowers and stuff. But when I got done with this, it was way too small. I had to make a 5-inch spine to hold everything. And I have blanked out their last names to, protect the innocent here. And then this was the back cover, or the back of the bag. And so there's the ever and the after. It's on there. I used a lot of bling stuff, a lot of pearls. It looks very wedding-ish, however I want to say that. So we'll open it up. I did make ties on it so you could kind of manage it. And when I started it, I wasn't quite sure how I was going to do it. The inside of the back and the front covers I lined with kind of a satiny material. It wasn't probably pure satin, but it had that feel. And then just as a when I put when I had to cut the cover apart, I used some cotton material that had some embroidery on it to space it and just add some strength to the hinge area. So this was the first page, and I broke it into 3 signatures, basically: pre-wedding, wedding, reception, and then the honeymoon. So anyway, their names were Skylar and Jessica, and they did a save the date card that they sent out, and I covered up names just like I say, and here's the save the date thing. I just made a little hinge and covered that with matching paper. I am not sure. I do not remember whose paper this was. It was beautiful paper. I wanted something, kind of wedding-ishing to be the background paper. It turned out beautifully. I knew I wanted a lot of pockets in here because she had a lot of paper things, receipts, whatnot. I did go to one of her showers. Some of the games they played were a little risque. And she did mention that should any future children look through her book, or their book, that she would want things hidden, that nothing should be inappropriate. So there is a pocket in the top, and I'm not going to share the games, okay, but there was a couple of games, and we're hidden with those. So they can put another wedding picture here if they want to. There were some more games, okay, and we'll keep those hidden. I think she had another shower that I was not able to attend. There was advice given, it was one of those games where you give advice to the newly married couple. And then I know that they went shopping. It was a big deal, shopping for the dress. And so I think it was Aldercina had a little dress pattern that she put out. And I think it was a freebie. And so I used that as a basis and just had some laces and did a couple layers of it, so it gave it some oomph and something. And then I used some of the lace trim like I have on the front, or the edging, to decorate and make a pretty bodice for that. There was planning the wedding, and the papers are in here, so all that pre-wedding stuff is all there. And then another page that they can add a journal. Maybe they've got some shower pictures that they can put in. And then we got on to the reception. Now, during this section, I wanted to use gift wrap and stuff from presents and whatnot as the background. So that was fine. And then this was, I guess they were doing blow bubbles or something. So this is how I attached them, just through the back of the card. And I did little grommets so they wouldn't tear out. And this is glued down. okay? On the back side of it, it's another one, but I made it so that they could slip some other papers in there or something, or some other pictures, whatnot in there. There's some space. This was another souvenir during the wedding. And then this was a picture. I did order a couple of pictures because I thought it needed some photos of them off the from the side of their wedding photographer. And then I scanned them, and so I was able to cut them out. And this was the back of her dress. She had a really lovely train, and then yeah, and so it was save the date thing. So they were blowing wishes to the happy couple. Now this was, and then I wanted pockets for different things too. I used a lot of the envelopes, and most of them I used. I had some gold paper. It was gold on one side and silver on the other, but they liked the gold. So they had the actual wedding announcement came out in a card, and later, after the save the date card, once they actually had it, the place set and everything, they had that done. There's the schedule for the wedding, and that's all back here. Someplace, as I said, I did not go to the wedding, so I'm not sure how they used these letters, but I used them in the wedding book this way. And so there's the wedding schedule. The placemat cards were here for the bride and groom, and I see I have not put out their names, but that's, yeah, all right, so you know who they were. All the rest of their guests are back here, and it's just another envelope front that I used. And see, I just used all sorts. I think she had a mixture bouquet of flowers, so I don't think it's just one colored flower. So I used the background paper. Just this was just tissue paper. This was some wrapping paper they did. This is more decorations. They were at a place called Meow Wolf, so they had a bag. She had a bag from them, and so I cut that down just to make a pocket out of it. There's a note in there. And there was a couple of these probably wax seals were probably on the gifts or something, or cards. So I just saved them and stuck them in wherever they went. I don't know who actually had them on their cards. And made some other pockets here and here for Amazon receipts and some other little receipts. Excuse me. And so I just started I was running out of room, so I just kind of cut out the names of the people that sent them things. And then their dog was in it. And so I put little Griffith's name here. Again, I scanned it, and then I cut it out from my scanning. There was a wine and beer and cocktails menu that were available. And then, and so here's another one that I used. Made another, instead of a pocket this time, I made another flip out. And there was an address here and Jessica's address, so I don't want that to be out in public. And so there was another wax seal here. And here's a little griffin. I cut this out from a scanned picture. So you can do all sorts of things when you get creative. And creating this journal did stretch my creativity quite a bit. And so there was an extra photo of them. Then they went on a little honeymoon trip. Their first stop was Santa Fe, New Mexico. Here's their parking permit. And I kind of showed on a Google map from where they started to Albuquerque, to Santa Fe. And then they went from there up to the Great Sand Flats National Park. And then I think these were probably t-shirt things. This one is just another thing. You could just kind of a belly band, so they could flip something through there. But this one I made as a flap. And a well tribute. This was, anyway, more to the Great Sand Dunes. I kept doing these maps so they could see what they actually did. It took 3 hours to get there from Santa Fe up to there. And I know in hindsight, I had asked the bride one time to give me their itinerary so I would have it, but she never did. So I went ahead and just figured it out on my own. So as they looked through this, they could say, well, we didn't do that day. We did it this day or something. Or we didn't. They probably did some of the trip up and hit other places on the way back. But they hit all these places. And so there's a little flyer from the Great Sand Dunes. And then there's a pocket up here that they could put that flyer in. This was a patch of stickers that they got, and there's a picture of them. Okay. And then this was, they went to Pagosa Springs, which I think is a really big spa place or something. And it's a really nice place and probably really good for a nice couple to enjoy some relaxing time together, especially after the hubbub of the wedding, getting that all done. And then this was a parking, or I think this was the door thing or something or other for their hotel room. And it had split, but I think I got it matched up pretty well together. It had split apart. I glued it together and then used that as a flip up. And there's a picture, the real picture of them and the little dog Griffin. Okay, he was the star, I think, of the wedding. I'm kind of partial to Griffin. Okay, and then these were just some little cards. I made pockets again out of envelopes. There's more room in there. There's another one. They went to Mesa Verde, so there's a pocket up here. And here's again the map from Pagosa Springs to Mesa Verde. And then they went from Mesa Verde up to Arches, which is 2 hours. And so they went quite a ways away from where we are, where they were east of Dallas. And then the flyer for Arches. And then this was just a bag they sent. So maybe they could put another couple of pictures, maybe some of their vacation pictures or something that they can do, the honeymoon pictures they could take, they could put on here. This is a little pocket that the real pictures are that I didn't use in there, that I ordered from the photographer in there. This one was kind of an overall map of where they started and then where they ended up at clear up here in Moab, Utah. And this is a kind of a newspaper flyer about the Arches. So then my issue was, and see, all this has got the satiny material on it. This was kind of a hidden spine journal. And I didn't know exactly what to do with the cards, except I'd never really done it other than just to practice, is the Coptic stitch. And so I knew that all the cards, front and the sides and everything, were going to have gold washi tape put on them just to prevent the cards from tearing. So I went through and did that. So I'll have it. That she had beautiful cards now. They haven't had them for, since the wedding. I've had them in my possession this whole time. So they'll fit back here on the back. And so that is the journal, and I can give you the measurements here in just a minute. I'll tie this behemoth back together. So it made a because there were so many dimensional type things, it made a quite thick journal, but I did want to get it all in one place, and so that they could, have all their memories in one little spot, could sit down and enjoy going through their time together, and hopefully it's a good memories. I would imagine they are. They are supposed to be coming over this evening for a group thing. And I was going to measure this for you. And I believe it is, I think it's about 10 inches this way, 10 inches high by 7 1/4 this way, and then 5 inches across for the spine. So thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed.